Hello and welcome to CloudFolks Hub. My name is Bhavesh Adara. To understand all the ECS functionality, practically we are actually implementing one project. And the project name is Deploy Scalable PHP Web Application using Amazon ECS. As a part of this particular project, we already completed step number 1, create ECS cluster. If you look at over here, I am inside this ECS console and I have this particular cluster ready. Now, we are going to perform step number 2, create Docker image from the code. So, let's start. Before we are going to create image, let's understand the use case. Goal. What are we doing in this step? Launch new Docker enabled EC2 instance. Now you may have one question here like why we need to create EC2 instance. I am going to explain you this, don't worry. Clone the PHP S3 app from the CloudFolks public GitHub repo. Install Composer. What is Composer? I will also tell you about this. And build the Docker image using provided Docker file. See, right now if you look at this, I have this application is already running. Now, if you want to run this particular application inside your ECS cluster, you need to create task. Now, task is a kind of container, right? And container cannot run without image. Container's main requirement is to have image. So, by using code of this particular application, we need to create Docker image, okay? From this image, we can create task, right? Now, to create this image, we are actually doing all these things. Now, you may have one question here that why we are going to create separate EC2 instance, right? Why? Because ECS cannot build images. It is only runs them. Once you have your image, you can run this image as a task or service, but you must have image. ECS don't have this facility to build image from the code, okay? So we need to build image on a separate EC2 machine. Once image is built and tested, we will push it to the ECR for ECS to use. Now this is next step, right? Once the image will be ready, then we will talk about this. But right now, as I explain you, I have this particular code. I have to create image from this particular code, and then from this image I can run my application, and the matter is I cannot run or I cannot create this image directly on ECS, so I need to create one EC2 instance, or specifically we can say that one Docker host, right? So now we are going to understand how we can create this image step by step. Now the first is you need to create one EC2 instance. This is very normal. I'm actually creating Amazon Linux 2023 and I'm just going to allow 2 ports, port number 22 and 8080. Why 8080? That I will explain you later as well, because we want to test application locally. Once we will test this, then we will send it to the ECS. So I'm going to create EC2 instance right now. I am inside my EC2 dashboard. This is a Docker one of my own instance for my other use. So I'm going to create new one, launch instance. Now here, when we are going to launch instance, we will take this instance with the name build machine. Okay. So I'm just going to give this name. I recommend you to give same name. Okay. Build machine. I'm going to use Amazon Linux T2 micro. Here it is key pair. If you don't have, you can create new one. We don't need to touch any networking setting. Yes, we are going to the edit, and here I have port number 22 allowed, and I am going to add port number 8080, right? Then I want to allow this from any source, so 0.0.0. Very easy, no need to run anything else. Let's click on launch instance. Now it is going to launch my instance, and once my instance will be ready, I have to access this instance using SSH. So what I am doing, let's make it ready. SSH -i I have this key, so I'm going to use this ec2-user, which is a default username. Now let's go to the EC2 dashboard and let's copy public IP. Yes, this is my build machine. This is public IP. I'm just going to copy this and pasting over here, and I got this access of my EC2 instance, right? So once your EC2 instance is ready and you got access, we need to install Docker, right? Because we have to create images using Docker command. So Docker must be there in your system. Now these are the commands that you can use directly to run Docker inside your build machine. So here I'm just going to copy and paste all this command. Now this last command is actually allows EC2 user to run Docker command, right? Now it is going to take 1 or 2 minutes and it is going to install Docker inside my system. Now once Docker will be ready, we can verify this by giving command docker -- version. So it is working. Let's go to the mind map, and here let's understand the next step, right? Because it is installing Docker and it is going to take some time. So after installing Docker, our next step would be install PHP and Composer. As you know that we are actually installing PHP based application, so we need to run all these commands. I'm going to explain you all these commands step by step. Let's talk about the first line. This is the first line we have. In this particular first line, we are actually installing PHP, unzip and git. So we are installing 3 softwares using this particular command. This Y is actually indicating that do not ask about this, install directly. So we are installing PHP, unzip and git using this command, right? PHP is required because we are going to, like our application is based on PHP, unzip is to decompress the file, and git because in the next step we need to clone CloudFolks public repository because I want to give you code. Using this code you can build image, right? Then the second command we have, right, is actually going to download Composer. Now what is this Composer? Let me explain you. See, download the official Composer installer script, right? Now you may have one question over here that why Composer or what is Composer, right? See, as a part of our project, we are building PHP based web application where images uploaded by user will be stored in Amazon S3 bucket. See, this is application which is running, right? I have sample application running. Now I can choose file and I can directly go to this and I can say that upload now, and it is going to upload this file into the S3. It means what is actually happening over here, my PHP web application is interacting with S3, right? So to interact with S3 from PHP, we are using official AWS SDK. Means here you have to use AWS SDK because your application is going to store data into the S3, means your application is communicating with S3, right? Now whenever you are going to communicate with any AWS services, you have to use AWS SDK, and AWS SDK for PHP is already available. The SDK is not built into PHP, it is a third-party library, right? AWS developed this third-party library that we need to use over here because we are communicating with S3. Now, so to use it in our project, we must install it using Composer, which is the standard dependency manager for PHP. It is a dependency manager, and using this manager, we are actually going to install third-party library. In our case, it is AWS SDK PHP, right? Now, let's install this, but let's complete all this process as well. Then we have this command PHP Composer setup. Here we just downloaded this. Now we are going to execute the installer to generate Composer file, and then we are going to put this into the bin folder so we can execute it from anywhere. Okay, so let's go to the system. Here I think my Docker is already installed. Docker -- version. Yes, Docker is installed. Now let's do this.
Sorry to interrupt you. I know you guys are enjoying our video a lot because our final ultimate goal is Solution Architect Certification exam. To reach the destination, we required full videos. Path number 1, our 6-in-1 program. Our 6-in-1 program include all prerequisite skills which is needed as a cloud engineer. It include 24/7 support, lifetime update, section-wise practice test, full course practice test with tips and tricks by Bhavesh Atara, how to do exam preparation course, weekly lifetime live session with Bhavesh Atara, and 6 AWS project with documents. Path number 2, you can enroll by paying 499 and get Hindi and English, both the languages, videos of AWS. The choice is yours how to create your success story by choosing best one. Best of luck. Thank you.